Good morning, everyone. Please, everyone be seated. We have an interesting case before the court today. Let me tell you something. In all my years on this bench, and I've been doing this for a very long time, I've seen just about everything you can imagine. But every once in a while, a case comes through these doors that reminds me why I still come to work every single day. Now, before we begin, I want to make something absolutely clear. This courtroom is a place of respect. It is a place where we seek justice. Yes, but we do so with dignity, compassion, and fairness. I don't care if you're rich. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care what your last name is or who your father is. In this courtroom, everyone is equal under the law. That's how it works. That's how it should work. And that's how it will always work as long as I'm sitting in this chair. Now, let's talk about why we're here today. The defendant before me is a young woman, 23 years old. Her name is Madison Elizabeth Thornton, born March 12, 2001, currently residing at 1847 Blackstone Boulevard on the east side of Providence. She is the daughter of Robert Thornton, the CEO of Thornton Industries, one of the largest real estate development companies in the state of Rhode Island, with a valuation exceeding $400 million. But what matters more than her name or her father's position is what she did. 3 months ago, on August 15th, 2024, at approximately 4:30 in the afternoon, this young woman was operating a motor vehicle, a 2024 white Range Rover Sport, Rhode Island license plate TH4582, valued at over $120,000. She was driving recklessly through the Elmwood neighborhood here in Providence. And I'm not just talking about speeding. I'm talking about traveling at 70 miles per hour in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. 70 miles per hour on Cranston Street between Haskins Avenue and Broad Street, a residential area where children play, where families walk their dogs, where elderly residents cross the street just to get their mail. But it gets worse, much worse, when she was pulled over by Officer Daniel Martinez, badge number 347, an 18-year veteran of the Providence Police Department, at the intersection of Cranston Street and Haskins Avenue. She didn't show remorse. She didn't show concern. She didn't even show basic human decency. According to the police report in front of me, case number PR 202-408-4582, and I'm reading this verbatim, when Officer Martinez approached her vehicle at 4:37 p.m. and asked if she knew why she was being stopped, her exact words were, and I quote, "Do you know who my father is? He owns half the city. I can have your badge by tomorrow morning." When I read that, I had to put these papers down and take a moment, because those words, those arrogant, dismissive, disrespectful words, tell me everything I need to know about what we're dealing with here. This isn't just about speeding. This is about someone who believes that money, privilege, and family connections place them above the law, above consequences, and above basic human decency. But the story doesn't end there. Officer Martinez, to his credit, remained calm and professional. He explained the seriousness of the violation. He explained that lives were being endangered. And do you know what the defendant did? She laughed. She laughed in his face. Then she took out her iPhone and began recording him, stating she was going to make him famous for all the wrong reasons. Officer Martinez could have escalated that situation. He could have allowed emotion to take over. But he didn't. He did his job. He issued 3 citations at 4:49 p.m., citation numbers 248847, 248848, and 248,849 for reckless driving, excessive speeding, and creating a public hazard. He documented everything properly. That is what good police work looks like. But here's where this case takes an even more disturbing turn. After receiving those citations, the defendant posted multiple videos on her Instagram account, username Madison Thornton, which has over 47,000 followers. These posts have been submitted as evidence, exhibits C through G. In those videos, she mocked Officer Martinez. She ridiculed him. She referred to him as a rent-a-cop and a power-tripping nobody. She used her social media platform to publicly humiliate a police officer who was simply doing his job. These posts were made on August 15th at 6:22 p.m. and again on August 16th at 10:15 a.m. One of those videos alone received over 12,000 views within 24 hours. And then, 3 days later on August 18th, 2024, At approximately 2:15 in the afternoon, the defendant was captured on a Ring doorbell camera belonging to Mr. and Mrs. Richard Coleman at 247 Haskins Avenue in the same Elmwood neighborhood, driving recklessly again. Same white Range Rover, same license plate, same behavior, as if the citations, the warning, and the law itself meant absolutely nothing. I've been doing this job for 32 years, since 1992. I've seen teenagers make stupid mistakes. I've seen young people show genuine remorse. I've seen defendants from difficult circumstances make poor choices and still earn mercy. And in many of those cases, I've given second chances. I've reduced sentences. I've offered community service instead of jail time because I believe in redemption. I believe people can change, but I also believe in accountability. And when someone demonstrates a clear pattern of behavior that shows complete disregard for the safety of others, for the law, and for basic human respect, this court has an obligation to protect the community. Now, something else has been brought to my attention. The defendant's father, Robert Thornton, CEO of Thornton Industries, has attempted to use his influence to make this case disappear. Between August 20th and September 5th, I personally received 7 phone calls to my chambers for written letters and 3 in-person visits, including one from a city councilman, one from a private attorney, and one from the president of the Providence Chamber of Commerce. There were suggestions of donations, $50,000, $75,000, to various organizations. Let me be crystal clear. Money does not buy justice in this courtroom. Influence does not purchase immunity. And no donation, no matter how large, will change what happens here today, November 27th, 2024. Because when I look at this case, I think about the families in Elmwood. I think about the parents who heard a car roaring down Cranston Street and wondered if their child was about to be hit. I think about 72-year-old Dorothy Henderson and her husband Frank, both retired teachers, who had to jump back onto the curb to avoid being struck. And I think about what could have happened. I have 7 grandchildren. When I imagine one of them playing outside and someone like this driving 70 miles an hour past them, it makes my blood run cold. We are not talking about traffic violations. We are talking about potential tragedy. I've reviewed the prosecutor's recommendation. I've listened to the defense. I've reviewed every piece of evidence. And I keep coming back to one truth. Compassion without accountability is not compassion. It's enabling. There is no remorse here, no understanding, no lesson learned. So here's my sentence. On the charge of reckless driving from August 15th, citation number 248847, I sentence you to the maximum penalty allowed under Rhode Island law, 90 days at the adult correctional institutions. On the charge of attempting to intimidate a law enforcement officer, I add 60 days consecutive. On the second reckless driving incident from August 18th, I impose another 90 days consecutive. That is a total of 240 days, 8 months, in the women's division of the ACI. No early release. No special privileges. Additionally, I impose a fine of $15,000, payable by January 26, 2025. Your driver's license is suspended for 3 years, effective immediately. You will complete 200 hours of community service. And if you drive during that suspension, you will face additional jail time. This sentence is not about cruelty. It is about responsibility. Madison Thornton, you are young. This does not have to define you. But today, accountability begins. This court is adjourned.